Hi, I'm Bill Winterberg of FPPad, and I'm here at the T3 conference in Dallas, Texas. And here with me today is Mike Wilson, COO of AdvisoryWorld. Mike, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
I was first introduced to AdvisoryWorld back at the Orion Advisor Forum last summer, and you had some great integrations with their portfolio system to feed holding information into AdvisoryWorld to generate detailed performance reports. Tell me about the performance reports that you provide to advisors and to their clients.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so traditionally we've always generated hypothetical illustrations. How would my current investments have performed historically? How would this basket of investments have done historically versus my current investments in a hypothetical manner? And what we've been doing more and more with Orion and some of the other portfolio management vendors is we're pulling actual performance, whether it's model or client existing allocations, how they actually perform, and showing them in our illustrative reports, either side by side versus hypothetical, or just plotting the actual performance and pulling in all of our risk metrics. So things like the MPT stats, so we run like Sharpe ratios, betas, alphas, returns-based style analysis. Again, we're doing that in both hypothetical manner as well as actual manner. So it's allowing advisors to tell the story to their clients of, here's where your investments are today, hypothetically versus actually, and pair those side by side. The first company we really started to do that for and with was SEI, who I'm sure you're familiar with. And ever since we started with them, we were trying to find ways to implement that through other folks, and Orion was the first mover as far as exposing and extending their performance strings to allow us to do that type of metric.
Oh, neat. So what are some of the components that you find advisors really like that are coming from the AdvisoryWorld platform?
So there are a couple things. One would be, like I mentioned, the risk analysis of actual versus hypothetical and current versus proposed. So again, we have all the different quantitative proposal capabilities. Those are all the numbers, right? The calculated numbers and the math that we've gotten really good at over the past 25 years. In addition to that, we have the ability to drill down. So if you've got 10 mutual funds in your portfolio and 15 ETFs and a dozen stocks like Apple or what have you, you can see that all 10 of those mutual funds and the ETFs, and you have an Apple position, all what that looks like in a, I think Morningstar calls it an X-ray. We call it holding scan. Same type of principle. We look at the equity and fixed income properties of a portfolio. Again, current versus proposed, or just one portfolio at a time. So you can see the value versus growth tilt, your interest rate exposure on the fixed income side. You can compare expense ratios. You can look at all the fee structures. Getting back to my mention of SEI, they've been using our proposal generation tools now for about 5 years. So every single proposal that goes through SEI goes through our platform. Similarly, LPL is using our capabilities on the research side. So every SAM model, every PWP model, all of those model performance reports and analytics, trade logs, all go through us onto thousands of LPL advisors.
So you talked about proposals, you talked about performance, because I was surprised when I was looking at AdvisoryWorld. I was surprised by the depth of services and products that you provide. What are some of the others that are really accelerating in adoption by advisors?
So, the modeling capabilities, going back to day one AdvisoryWorld, we've had an efficient frontier optimizer. So you can take a bundle of investments and find the best blend of those to maximize return, minimize volatility using MPT in general. But I really think, aside from our proposal and our hypothetical illustration tools and all the performance metrics that we run, as we spoke to already, I think one of the key things is that our ability to extend our reports through third-party applications. So I'm less interested in building my own app that's very sticky. I'm more interested in pushing our capabilities off to third parties. So we just announced a partnership with Redtail. So Redtail users can now call any of our investment fact sheets right out of Redtail, ad hoc. Any of our portfolio fact sheets, same principle. We're working towards those same ends with MoneyGuide Pro. So I see it less that we're owning the desktop. I don't even want to own the desktop. I want to own the the intellectual property around being like the go-to guy for when someone needs a analytical research report. Similarly, we work with Standard & Poor's. So on the S&P Capital IQ Market Scope Advisor platform, our tools are embedded. It doesn't look and feel like AdvisoryWorld, but it's us. So again, we're really trying to be less about our brand, and going back, I mean, not a ton of people have heard of AdvisoryWorld. It's kind of a gift and a curse, because I'm less interested in my brand. I'm more about being the go-to de facto analytics and research engine, and the ability to white label our capabilities. It's what folks like LPL, SEI, S&P have been using us for several years now.
I see. So independent RIAs really have two ways that they can adopt AdvisoryWorld. One is work directly with you and benefit from the services that you provide that way, but the other is leveraging their portfolio provider or their CRM provider, like you said, and have that integration available to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Orion on the portfolio management side and portfolio accounting, Allbridge is one of our very close partners. So all of our analytics and all of our capabilities can be launched as an app link from Allbridge. I'm sure you're quite familiar with that. We work on the CRM side of things with, like I mentioned, Redtail. We're going down the same path with Salesforce. We already have existing ties with eBix Smart Office. So we're trying to bolt on to all these other platforms that own the desktop rather than try to take on the desktop ourselves, because it's not really, I don't see that being our place. And again, I don't want to be in the app business. I want to be more in the calculation business where our capabilities are extended.
Great. So for advisors who are interested in adopting some of your tools, your performance reports, your hypotheticals, what kind of ballpark costs are they looking at based on their size or number of accounts that they have? How are you charging for your service?
We have a license model, so we don't charge on AUM or number of accounts or what have you. It's a per user license subscription model. So you're looking at anywhere from about $95 a month on up to about $150 a month, depending on which databases you want. The base model comes with Lipper data with mutual funds, ETFs, variable annuity sub-accounts, indexes. And then you can add on SMA data, individual bond data that we're getting from S&P, which is fairly unique. So it really depends on what capabilities you need. But again, the base model handles a lot, and that's $95 a month.
Great, great. So Mike, where can advisors get more information about AdvisoryWorld and these integrations that you're continuing to build out?
The best way is to go to our website, www.advisoryworld.com. You can also reach out to us via phone, 800-480-3888. And of course, email is just info@advisoryworld.com.
Great, Mike. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today and just tell me a little bit more about what AdvisoryWorld is doing and how you're moving forward this year.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
Thank you.